Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Daily Motor, and I've been spending the last week with a car that I've been curious about for quite some time, especially from a real-world sort of living with scenario. And it's this fairly strange looking, but arguably cool, Toyota Crown Signia. Alyssa and I were arguing on if this is a wagon or not, and I hate to say it, honey, you're probably not going to watch the video. Maybe you'll hear me edit it, but it is a wagon. It is proportionally and categorically a wagon. And by default, we tend to think that wagons are cool. And this one makes a lot of sense to me because it takes sort of the benefits of a sedan, a little bit lower ride height, more efficiency, nice smooth lines, and adds the practicality that a lot of people are looking for from a crossover. Now, we'll see if Toyota can market it well enough, but I'm here to tell you that there is a lot to like about this entirely new model from Toyota. For the Crown Signia, they're all hybrids and they're all all-wheel drive. I like that simplicity there. Very low load height, being a wagon as opposed to a crossover, and still a very large area to put things. Conveniently, you can fold those seats down. You see they barely even hit the seats in front, and you have a huge amount of space. And am I seeing little bits that you can actually fold up? Ah, look at that. Okay. So you can do that and then really protect your seats if you want to slide something in there. That's pretty cool. And then there's... Huh. Could you also do some sort of shelf with this? No. Ah, that's kind of nifty. Simple though. Doesn't have to power open or close or anything like that. It simply works. Do have the power close lift gate there. Coming into the back seat, myself at 5'10". Ugh. Huh. What did I do wrong? There we go. Myself at 5'10", I have plenty of knee room, plenty of headroom. Got a flip down armrest with some hard cup holders there. It's a bit disappointing to see. But I do have air vents, 2 USB-C power ports, and 1-stage heated seat back here. We're also getting a glimpse at the nice saddle brown looking interior, kind of this two-tone peanut butter and chocolate with, I guess, dark chocolate, the black on the brown. This is the limited model. You're seeing it at just over $50,000. A little bit steep, arguably, but Toyota is pushing pretty aggressively up market with this one. Getting into the driver's area, you see I have my MagTape cable out because I was actually having trouble getting Android Auto to work in this car. Everything paired up properly wirelessly, and then I got in it the next day and my phone just wasn't connecting. And unfortunately, I was already on the road, so I got my cable out to plug it in. Phone came up just fine. So a few little glitches with the technology. Other than that, it's been a smooth week here with the car. But I do have some cons and some pros. So let's start off out here with my first con, and that is this plastic cladding. You guys might have a little bit of trouble seeing it with this darker color and the sunshine right above us, but I know that Toyota did this black plastic cladding to make the vehicle look a little bit taller, and some people are going to appreciate that, but every time we've seen a vehicle use body color cladding, it looks just that much classier. We saw it happen with the Mazda CX-5 when they came out with their signature model. Then they ended up putting body color cladding on a lot more of their models because they realized that people like that. It's cheaper to just do black on all the models, and it helps raise the visual appeal of the vehicle, but I would like to see body color cladding on this. After all, if it's somebody who's buying a wagon, they've probably got classy taste, so give them a classier looking car. If they wanted a crossover, they'd buy a crossover. Next con is the interior packaging. Now, the Crown also comes in a sedan model, and for the sedan, I a little bit more understand having this be such an inefficient use of space, just with the trade-off of it looking good and being very easy to use. However, in my eyes, if somebody's buying a wagon, they're buying a vehicle that they want to be as practical as possible while still being nice and easy to use. Therefore, I'm disappointed that Toyota's taken up so much space here with blank plastic, relatively small cup holders, a big shifter and big buttons, and a wireless device charger that hasn't always worked for me very well, and now I'm seeing that somebody has left garbage in this. Thank you, it wasn't me. We see some vehicles with big open expanses here, and if someone's using this as a lifestyle sort of car, daily driver, they're going to be able to utilize more of that space. Instead, we've got plenty of dead space and a fairly small center console. I'd like to see this space be so much better utilized. I know it looks good, but give me the functionality of a larger space instead of just having it taken up by plastic. My next con is the technology. Toyota has come a long way with their infotainment system. This newer one is a lot better than what they had, but it's already feeling dated compared to Android Automotive-based systems and compared to the quicker responding and more powerful infotainment systems we're seeing from so many other brands. This one is very basic in its navigation, its wireless CarPlay and Android Auto, and a lot of dead space, a lot of delays. This is going to continue to feel more and more dated, and yeah, Toyota can do updates, but it's not a powerful system compared to a lot of other vehicles on the market. I was in the Honda Civic that cost $30,000 recently, had a better infotainment system than this. And then on top of that, this gauge cluster is way too busy and fairly difficult to get used to, and even once you are familiar with how it works, difficult to remind yourself what you're doing, and it's not intuitive compared to the straightforwardness of so much of the rest of the vehicle. So you've got an overly simple and basic infotainment screen and then an overly complicated gauge cluster. Somebody buying a Crown Signia probably just wants a simple speed readout, some information about their drive, their gear and their fuel, and that's about it. My next con is out here on the road, and it is the engine noise when you really do need power out of this 2.5 liter. If you keep it down in the eco mode of the gauge cluster, about right here, so pretty slow, that's fine. But if you need to lean on it, you're hearing that engine, and it's fairly characteristic of Toyota with this 2.5 liter. It's an efficient and reliable engine, but it's not particularly refined. And in something like a basic RAV4 or Camry, okay, fair enough, it gets the job done. But when you're talking about a $50,000 borderline luxury wagon like this, if somebody's cross-shopping this to a Volvo and to a Subaru, well, no, Subaru's not going to sound great either, but to a Volvo or maybe a CPO Mercedes or something like that, this powertrain is not going to sound good for them getting up on the highway. And the last con is the cost. And it's not necessarily that I think the Crown Signia is too expensive for what it is, but a little bit more so it's the fact that this car is almost a little too nice to be a Toyota, but it's not quite a Lexus either. So you're a bit caught in this weird price limbo of, okay, you could spend about the same and get yourself into a nice Highlander, which is also nice to be in, nice inside, very practical, very large, not quite as efficient, and not quite as fun to drive. Or you could get yourself into some basic Lexuses, or you could obviously open up the whole CPO realm and be into many other vehicles. So there is a lot to like, and I go as far as to say I think the price is justified in the product. I understand why it costs as much as it does. It just creates this awkward in-between of, okay, you're paying how much for a Toyota and a Toyota car? It's going to be tough for some people. Coming back here static for the pros, and my first one is the styling. It is a little modern, perhaps, for some, with these very sleek LEDs up top and then the actual headlights down below, and a body-colored grille that I think looks quite cool, and then the swooping lines and the very subtle raised roof rails. I like the design. Aside from the body-colored or the non-body-colored plastic cladding down there, I think it's a cool and handsome vehicle. I'm happy with the wheels. I'm happy with the design in general, the lights, everything. I think it really stands out. My next pro is back inside. Look at all of these physical controls. Physical controls for all of our climate control, physical controls all across the steering wheel, no haptic buttons I'm having to deal with. That was something that Toyota already stumbled on with the Venza. Now we've got physical controls in this car. Very much appreciate that. It helps with initial use and it helps with day-to-day use. Next, powertrain choice. I appreciate that there isn't a choice for the Crown Signia. You simply get Toyota's great 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder paired up to some electric motors and all-wheel drive standard. There's no choosing, okay, do I want the more powerful one, less powerful one, do I want front-wheel drive, all-wheel drive? Doesn't matter. If you see a Crown Signia, it's got this powertrain. And all things considered, aside from the graininess up high, it's a good powertrain for this vehicle. It works well, it's efficient, it's got just enough power when you need it, smooth when you don't. I appreciate it. And I appreciate that Toyota has kept it simple. And continuing, my next pro is the efficiency. I've been driving this in all sorts of driving situations throughout the week, averaging 37 miles per gallon. And for a vehicle that's as spacious as this is, that's great. That really is. And that goes to show one of the benefits of choosing something like a sedan or a wagon or a hatchback over a more lifted, larger vehicle is that higher speed efficiency. You really can't do much from a powertrain standpoint to overcome aerodynamics. You simply need to push less air. A wagon does a good job at that compared to something like a crossover. And then for around town, you're getting the benefits of the hybrid powertrain and this 2.5 liter engine running Atkinson cycle. It's just efficient, and you don't have to work hard to get that efficiency. My last pro is the sound system. I was actually very impressed with the JBL system in the Crown Signia. I expected just, okay, strong, but good enough, gets the job done. But no, this was a system that I actually enjoyed cranking up every sort of song that I listened to. It can replicate sounds well. Doesn't have the most adjustability, so I'd like to see JBL and Toyota try a little bit harder from the software side. But from the actual hardware and tuning, I think they've done a really great job. So wrapping up my thoughts on the Crown Signia, I think this is a fantastic vehicle for many people. However, I understand that it's not a fantastic price for many people, and that'll make it a little bit tougher to actually get people in the seat to test drive. Because I think if they do, they're going to realize this is a nice driving car that checks so many of their boxes and would be a great car for a long time. This is going to really stand the test of time, both from a durability standpoint, but also a flexibility standpoint. And in fact, my own grandmother, I think, would be best suited by this Crown Signia over virtually any other car in the market. She likes sedans. She likes cars over crossovers. She doesn't want to buy a crossover. She's currently in a Lincoln MKZ, and that's getting old. And she insists upon all-wheel drive. In fact, she lives in a wintry climate, so she needs all-wheel drive. I'll give her that. The Crown Signia would do it all. She's got a larger dog. It would fit well in the back. She wants a vehicle to be able to carry her groceries. This would do it. It's got all-wheel drive. It'd be reliable. Could be serviced at a nearby dealership. Aside from the technology being a bit overwhelming, I think this would be a fantastic car for her. And that goes for, again, many people who need the boxes checked that the Crown Signia does. And another quick little aside thought that I had throughout this week, I could actually see the argument for Toyota doing a GR version of the Crown Signia. Because hear me out. This is, in a way, an enthusiast car. Wagons are often purchased by individuals who appreciate the finer things of automotive culture. If they could do something that was a little bit cheaper, so make the inside a little bit more basic, no JBL, simplify things a little, and then use one of their turbocharged powertrains, this could actually make for a really cool kind of Volvo V60 Polestar competitor. I doubt they'd ever do it, but it would be cool to see. But before we wrap up, we do have to put the Crown Signia on the Daily Motor Leaderboard. Current leaders of the Daily Motor Leaderboard: Hyundai Santa Fe, Jeep Gladiator, and Nissan Armada. I know where this is going. Pretty easy for me. Right below the Ranger Raptor and above the Ford Explorer in 7th place. Oh, pretty good. Like I said, this is going to be a car that I enjoyed having. I'll probably forget about it before too long, but it'll be a very easy car to recommend for someone who brings it up. So thank you all so much for watching. If you do want to see more on the Crown Signia, check the link below. We've got a dedicated fuel economy test and review of the JBL sound system, and we'll see you on the next one. I'm Charlie from Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.